Coach's Corner with Coach Heck and the infamous Coach Patrick King. You're stuck with me, man.
I'm stuck.
You are stuck with me. I ain't going anywhere.
There's a lot of people that are jealous of me for sitting here, and there's some people that there's a little sympathy going on at the same time.
There's more people that are sympathetic to you. I'm just saying that much right now. I get a doctor's note that I can't lift but 10 pounds, right? Anything more than 10 pounds. I wake up 3 in the morning, I got to take a leak. How do I go take a leak? Oh, just remember what Ron Heklinski said today. Man, you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good. Oh, man. Are you kidding me?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner with Heck and King. Today's Monday, November 4th. We have another great show in store for you tonight. First, though, I want to shout out Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance. Whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, give Tony a call, 574-307-8882, or visit his website, tletcher.com, tletcher.com. Also want to shout out Han Funeral Homes. If you are in the unfortunate position that you need funeral services, they are more than happy to help and provide compassionate care at that very difficult time. Reach them at 574-255-1474 or visit the website hanfuneralhomes.com, and they will be more than happy to help. Also want to give a shout out to the Black Sedan Band, which is the music that you are hearing right now. Birmingham, Alabama's finest. They do travel. If you're in need of some great tunes, they'll hook you up. You can go to their website, blacksedanband.com, or check out their YouTube channel. Just search for the Black Sedan Band, and they'll be right there.
We're up here.
The drummer is none other than Heck's brother, so how about that? And, yeah, that's all I got for the intro here. Now, without further ado, here are Heck and King.
Well, I have received many standing ovations in my time. And again, the applause was welcomed.
Welcome, everybody. That's right.
Yeah, so welcome,
Very
everybody.
welcome.
Monday night, November the 4th. Tomorrow night, we elect Donald Trump as a president of the United States. Yes.
I will be reelected mayor of New Carlisle.
That's right.
Kenny Peterson
On a unanimous ballot.
will
What else
be
happens tomorrow?
will be the only mayor elected where there's not a mayoral job, but we will
There will
elect
be.
him.
There will be.
We will elect him. My good friend Pat King to my right
The vote is 1-0
Has
in
been-
New Carlisle.
has been having a wonderful time on the show the last couple of weeks, and we thank him for his being loose and ready to go. Man, I like that. But I gotta ask right off the bat. I gotta ask our producer extraordinaire, Scotty King, what he means by if you're in an unfortunate position when he gives the Han Funeral Home. If you're hard as a carp, if you're stiff as a board, if you're dead.
Oh, I'm talking about the families that have to deal with the fallout.
Permanent horizontal.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you meant, hey, if you're as hard as a carp and you're
I was
dead.
going to say, who cares if you're dead?
Yeah, I hear you, man.
You could probably still vote for Harris.
All right,
I hear you.
what's your joke? Oh, dear. I heard that one. Little
Hey.
one-liner.
Here's my and this truly is not a joke because this truly happens. But what did one casket say to the other, Kenny?
Oh, I know this. Is that you coughing?
You got it, man. Is that you coughing?
Brother, this guy stinks!
More applause.
There we go, man. There we go.
You got it.
You got to hit it again.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. We have a great show
Hey,
planned tonight,
we got 'em
guys.
all. We got them all.
We have a great show planned tonight. We're going to talk some NFL football. We're going to talk some great college football around this time of the year. Things are starting to get sorted out on the tournament trail, on the 12-team tournament trail, as teams are starting to beat themselves and knock each other out. And we're going to talk IU football, of course. We're going to have a couple of guests. Austin Howell from the South Bend Tribune will be on to tell me personally why he puts a certain team ahead of another team. I want to ask him
He
that.
does that because he gets readership. Plain and
Okay.
simple.
All right.
Hey, now,
And I hope he says that. I hope he says, "Hey, heck, it matters nothing what the records are. It matters nothing. I get readership. Cool." And then we're going to have the lovely Allison Hayes on,
Allison Hayes at 7:30ish.
who's going to talk some ND football and some scenarios about the Fighting Irish.
Well,
as a Fighting Irish are back in play.
And see,
this
she was smart enough to not come in here amongst the boys club,
Yeah.
and she's going to stay home and do that via Zoom. Now, give me a medical update. We're now at what, week 6 or 7? What's the latest?
We're completed week 6. We're starting week 7 on the fracture of the C2 vertebrae, and I had a X-ray last Friday, a doctor's appointment today. The vertebrae is healing right on schedule. It's aligned just right on schedule as long as I just keep taking care of my business and don't have any movement whatsoever in my neck, which is a very difficult thing to do. But the ramifications of it not being right are real bad. So
Right.
So yeah, I'm doing okay. Guess what I can do?
What can you do?
Guess what?
Tell
I
me.
can now go to Planet Fitness and I can ride the recumbent bike.
Oh, nice.
I can sit in a chair.
As long as you're semi-vertical.
I can sit in a chair and I can exercise my legs and exercise my back, by sitting in that bike position.
I have a
And do that.
I have a treadmill at my house. You're welcome.
I cannot be on the treadmill
Can't
yet.
do a treadmill.
No, because of the bouncing
Okay, well,
up and
then
down.
never
I have
mind.
a Peloton if you want to come to my house.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
he's got a
Can you
Peloton.
fly me over? Can you just fly a plane over my house, just like I see on Facebook? Hey, there's Scott, 9 million miles up in the air. Hi, honey. Hi, honey.
You didn't know the landing pattern to DFW comes right over his house.
Yeah. No. So I am hopefully continuing feeling better and healing, and hopefully by Christmas I will have this neck brace off and I'll be rolling again, man.
Well, hey, on our tradition of breaking news, let's talk about just a real tease on pro football that has nothing to do with who won or lost yesterday. That's enough. The New Orleans Saints fired their coach today after 7 straight losses. Do you realize they started out 2-0 and everybody was in love with them, and now they've lost 7 in a row? And Dennis Allen is no longer the coach of the New Orleans Saints.
As Kenny might say, who cares?
I'm just stating the
cares?
news.
No,
You
go
got
ahead.
to
No,
remember,
fire
we
that stuff.
were also the same people last year or 2 years ago about Notre Dame's transfer quarterback going to Alabama. If you remember?
Tyler Buckner. Yeah.
So
sure.
we were hot off the press on that. So I thought we would be the first to report this in case some of you might have not noticed that over the weekend.
And Sean Payton is not the coach of the New Orleans Saints for a variety of reasons, and the most important number one being that they didn't have a quarterback.
Right.
And Derek Carr went in there and took the job. Okay, serviceable quarterback, pretty good quarterback actually, right? Yeah, but he can't, in the immortal words of 1946, Mr. Basketball, Jumping Johnny Wilson, he can't bust a grape this year. So they're 2-7.
He doesn't have enough help.
So
Doesn't have enough grapes.
And
Still killed the
there you go.
Cowboys.
Yeah,
So-
and to go on with that, let's go out west. The Raiders, of all people, out in Vegas now, they fire their offensive coordinator today, Luke Gadsey, along with the line coach, James Craig, and the quarterback coach, Rick.
Former Bear
Well,
assistant.
that's
Luke
what I was
Getsy,
getting ready to.
Yeah, former Bear OC.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what I want to ask you. And I'm not being a wise guy. I just want to ask you this: who's going to call the plays for him?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the QB coach? Who's going to be the line coach? We just, hey guys off the street, come on, you want to call plays?
But
You wanna
these
call
guys,
plays?
these guys are all first.
You want to
they're
be the
all
line
first-year
coach?
people. They've been out. They've
Line
been there
coach.
since.
Antonio Pierce hired him.
Yeah, Getsy
with
was
the Bears
fired with
last
the
year.
Bears, gets fired in January, and he gets picked up. He gets hired by the Raiders to go out there and run their offense. He's been there since February, and now he's without a job.
Well, here's
And
what
like
I
you
say,
said,
bud.
who do you move up? You lost the quarterback coach, the line coach, and the OC.
Right.
Well, you got the special teams guy going to come in and
Well,
call
I
plays?
firmly believe it'll be the equipment manager, to be honest with you.
Well,
but
it
here's
sounds like
what I
somebody's
say.
trying to save his job.
Here's what I say. You knew who Luke Getsy was when he was with the Bears.
Right.
Now you have Devontae Adams there, who's a Hall of Famer when his playing days are done, and Luke Getsy didn't have a QB. Aiden O'Connell, the quarterback at does Purdue play football still, Kenny?
On a club level.
On a club level.
Yeah.
See, you got the quarterback at Purdue on a club level is the starting quarterback for the freaking LA Raiders.
Yeah.
And then you got a guy who is a gardener. Gardner Minshew. He works
So he was
in the
with the
offseason, he's a gardener.
He was with the Colts last year and
Yeah.
didn't do too bad.
Come on. So what so you're going to fire Luke Getsy and then you're going to fire all these other cats, and then you're going to say, "Oh yeah, man, we got the quarterback. We got a QB."
Now we've got it fixed, right?
It all comes down to the QB guys, and I hate to be the one to break that news to you. If your QB is pretty good, you can win some games.
Yeah.
If your QB stinks, you ain't gonna win some games. Now the woeful Dallas Cowboys,
Ooh.
their QB's out now. Dak Prescott got hurt. He's out.
Okay, I wonder how much he's hurt, or if he just said, "Take me out,"
Oh,
Well, at least-
because they're bad.
At least he didn't quit on a play like that one guy from the Bears did yesterday.
No, that was 2 weeks ago.
No. It was yesterday. Early in the game, they showed it on online, where I think it might have been more. I think it was more, maybe. I can't remember. I have to go back and look. But one of the guys during the play in the first quarter ran to the sidelines and walked off the field as the play was going on.
Oh, we've got somebody that's going to talk to us more about that. Real
Did
quick.
you see the clip of Dak on the sidelines saying "We suck"?
Yeah, I did. We did.
And he's right.
It
but
didn't take much of a lip reader to read it either.
Yeah, but he's right. But he's also the highest paid quarterback in modern history. So,
Yeah.
Hey, Dak, you might want to just say, hey, they're paying you, dude.
Yeah.
I know you do.
Can you read his lip? Read my lips.
I know you suck, man. Come
no,
on.
he's
new
not
taxes.
saying no taxes.
I mean, we know that, but you're hauling in boatloads of cash, and you didn't. So the day they offered you that new contract, hey, Jerry, come here. Jerry, I'm going to sign this contract, but we suck.
He is the highest paying quarterback.
I know.
In the league.
I know.
Ever.
I know.
I know.
Well,
Ever.
hey, you're the highest paid podcast member.
That's right.
I am. I'm trying
you
my
go.
best to carry the weight.
Hold
today.
on, hold on,
I mean,
hold on.
I stopped and picked you up today. I mean, I'm doing some. I'm going.
Can you
above
let
and
me
beyond.
see that?
Sure. DJ Moore walked off the field during the play yesterday. This is early in the game.
Send me the link. I'll put it on.
Yeah. Send him the
It's on
link.
YouTube.
Or what do I need to search?
Yeah.
Search Bear player walks off field 2024.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you might go to Kyrie Stevenson too on the Hail Mary, and you know what?
It's just
I wanted to talk
something new every week.
Well, I wanted to talk to Cody Quire. He loves the Bears, man. I love the Bears, and we're talking to him about maybe 10 till 8. But I'll say this now after I see this play. Can you enlarge that a little bit, or do I got to get a magnifying freaking glass? There
He's
we go.
trying.
Trying.
Okay, good.
I don't know where
Go
he
back
is
to
on
the
here though.
Go back to the beginning of the play.
It's
Now
a reel,
watch-
so it'll reset.
Yeah. Now watch. He's here, and then all of a sudden he starts veering off towards. Look, that's him right
Oh,
there.
up there at the
Oh.
43-yard line,
Right here.
Yep.
He just
Or-
walked off.
the 37-yard
During
line.
the play.
I guess.
During the play.
And there was
So
a
here-
lot of play left too.
You think there was he a 12th man?
No.
But okay.
He quit on them.
And Cody and Cody Quire and I will talk about this later on, and maybe I should wait till later on. But when you're seeing stuff like that,
These are pros.
That's the head coach being able to have a culture and a building where everybody buys in, and nobody would. So, do you think anybody who ever played for Bill Belichick would do that?
No,
because
not the next
number
day.
one,
No,
because
it'd be a-
number one, they're going to see it, and
Yeah.
you're going to see it Monday in the film.
Somebody's going to see it.
Yeah.
And so the repercussions that would happen with Bill Belichick seeing that.
Right.
they would be afraid of Bill Belichick.
Well, there's a book, and I've read parts of it. That's really good, called "When Pride Still Matters" by one of Vince Lombardi's players wrote it. It's a great book, and there was a guy who played for Lombardi when he got there, and he was going to go talk to, quote, Vince, and one of the guys said, "I would recommend you not call him Vince." And when the meeting was over, he was traded to Cleveland.
Yeah, no, that's how it should be.
Right, and to me, guys like Lombardi, Belichick, Parcells, you name it, who's worth his weight in gold. If that would have happened to Parcells, guy walking off the field, or the guy doing what he did at the end of that Washington game, I guarantee you Parcells would have given him his walking papers on the way
Well,
out.
and the problem with it is
Leave at the airport.
that a player would even think that way because they would fear. And I mean, I don't care. I think it's okay to fear a coach in some respects.
Sure.
They would fear the repercussions of what would happen
Repercussions, yeah.
on Monday with that coach.
And Parcells was masterful at that. I mean, there were times I've seen YouTube stuff where him and Sims would go at it during the game.
Yeah.
Because Phil would say one thing and Parcells would get on his butt about something, and they had it out during the game. I mean, Parcells was not there to be your buddy. Parcells was there to win games.
Yeah, I don't think Mike Tomlin. I don't think Bill Cowher. I don't
Cowher
think
would have lost it.
I think a lot of those coaches that have that just respect it's, and you don't even need to talk about it.
Right.
You just walk in the building, you open the door, and the word respect hits you, and you would never ever think of doing that. A, yourself. B, to your teammates, and C, have the head coach see that.
Mm-hmm.
I know
agree.
Q's
Do you ever have
watching.
that-
Q, leave a comment.
Well, what did Q say?
Yeah, he hasn't. I'm telling him to do so.
You guys, Scott, real quick, tell people how they can listen to us and watch us
Yes.
and do all the YouTube stuff. Would
If
you
you're on
please?
YouTube, please participate in the chat so I can put it on the stream and have more stuff to talk about. We want controversy here. We want to do clickbait. We want everything, right? Of course.
Well, here, speaking of that, let's
But also hit thumbs up. Don't hit thumbs down.
Let's leave the pro stuff for a little bit. Let's talk about IU for just a minute. The team down south. IU is Kenny. What?
Are we going to start with commercials like we always do?
Yeah, we will in a little bit, but let's.
I gotta ask you a question, and this is, I mean, maybe Kenny can help me.
Okay.
Is this when you sit in the middle? Is the middle seat the guy who makes all the calls?
I don't know. I got to hold.
We
the
need to go.
buttons. I
We
got.
need to go. We
got-
need to do this. We
got-
need to do that.
It's the guy
Because I
controlling
don't
the
care.
buttons.
I'll defer to you.
I'm
I'm just along for the ride.
I'm the producer.
Yeah. No, I don't care. Guys, you know me.
I just wanted to tease
I'm
with
in a
the
freaking
IU little
halo.
bit. Wank, we need to talk about something a little more fun. How about IU?
This isn't fun at all.
It's not.
I know
should
you
be.
don't.
It
I know
should
you
be.
don't want to talk about IU, but
It
we
should
got
be.
some people
It
that
should
do.
be fun for you.
No,
Scotty.
it's fun because if you, by statistics, Indiana and I think Georgia Tech's better. Somebody else, they're like the second worst college football program ever.
It's Kansas State that's one of the worst of all time.
Is
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
that's not. I don't think that's the name I saw
Georgia-
earlier.
Georgia
Georgia
Tech
Tech had good teams
Georgia Tech's
before.
got a great tradition.
Yeah.
Kansas State was above IU, but in terms of all-time terrible Division I football, it's Indiana, far and away. Far
Yeah.
and away, not even close.
Oh yeah, John.
What do you got on your comments, Mr. King?
John wants to remind everybody that the Lions are in first.
We're
No,
getting
I say
I'm just along for the ride, John. That's all.
no. Here's what I say: the Lions are freaking good.
They
good.
They proved it yesterday
No,
too.
Dan Campbell has the culture that he wants in that building, and when you walk into that building, you say, "Dan Campbell's the guy."
But they gave Dan Campbell an opportunity to build a culture. They didn't have much of a culture to begin with. The Lions let him build the culture. Now they're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, but I guarantee you,
Yeah.
in year one, maybe, but not year three. Year three, Dan Campbell didn't have guys walking off the field.
Well, and in year 1 and 2, he might have traded a couple people.
Yeah.
After those meetings you're talking about, because
Yeah.
he's one of those guys.
And so we're coaches, okay? And we've done this for our whole life. So basically, when you're talking about and I don't care who you're talking about firing. Him and I, Pat and I, have an understanding of what being fired means, and you know what it means to uproot your whole family. What it means to this coaching job is what puts bread on your table and feeds your family and allows you to have Christmas and allows you to do things. And when you get fired, so by no means do I ever pull for anybody to get fired.
Well,
because I know how hard it is.
And the one thing that we had to our disadvantage in high school is we didn't have any buyouts like some of these college and pros.
Yeah, you didn't get a golden parachute.
Yeah, well, it was like good luck to you.
Yeah, no, I 100%. But and I guess my point is, as a fan now. So now I take the coaching hat off, and as a fan, I say fire the guy, fire the guy, fire the guy, fire the guy. But I don't really say that because I still have an understanding of what that means to a coach, and I have an understanding of how hard the coaching profession is. You do too.
That's true. I agree.
I mean, you do too. So when I sit back there and I say, Matt Eberflus does not have control of his guys and does not have control of that building anymore, there's a part of me that is really sad when I say that because I know. I know. But there's also a fan in me saying, when I watch this garbage, what else can I say? Right? When you watch the offense in Oakland, you ask yourself that question. What the F are those guys doing, man?
I know.
I don't know. It's a catch-22 for me. McKinney, you've never been in. I mean, I don't know. Maybe as being the mayor of New Prairie, you've also been a head coach somewhere, have you?
I have been actually coached a little league team.
Okay, stop.
Yeah, we almost won a championship.
Now let me ask you a question. Coaching was never in your. It was never your main job of what you put food on the table with.
No, it was not.
Okay, so when you sit back and you can view a coach and you can say, "Oh, this cat needs to be fired. This cat needs to be fired." There's not that innate feeling that we have.
Right.
Can you just say that at ease? Fire this dude.
Fire this dude. Sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that on the air, but I mean, after a while whether a guy's going to make it or not, even at the high school level. And I'll give a great example of a guy who I've grown to really like as a coach, not because he won a state title, but because I saw in his teams before they won a state title who was in charge of the program, and that's Mark Schellinger. I mean, Mark Schellinger, you could tell when they're on the baseball field, he is the man. He is in charge, and nobody's gonna cross hairs or go question anything he does. He runs the ship. He's in charge, and everybody knows it.
Well, and everybody knows that because Mark Schellinger grew up with his father, Bobby Schellinger, who I played high school sports with, who's a Holy Cross kid. I'm a St. John's kid, who was the head coach at South Central and LaPorte for 100 years. That's the way we did it back in the day.
Right.
That's the way we played. That's the way we coached. You were like that. Your dad was a coach.
Sure, exactly.
That's the way we did it, and we did it from a standpoint of our players are going to represent this, and if they don't represent this, then they're not going to play for us.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark Schellinger does it. He follows in his dad's footsteps. Now, there's so much that he does on his own too.
Right.
But innately, he gets that from his dad.
Right.
Innately, you get that from your dad, whether you like it or not.
Well, you'd want to admit it. Yep.
Because everybody talked about Big Pat.
Yep.
And there are guys who coach in the small towns that are revered very, very much. And when they either quit or let go, it's a stake in the heart of a community. Marty Gaff was an outstanding coach at Couts, if you remember Marty from his days.
What is Couts a school?
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
No, it is.
Oh, okay.
It is. It's south of Valparaiso.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, cool.
I think Pat's been through there a couple times.
I
have.
I'm just asking. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's all right. He was an outstanding coach down there at a small school. Bill Berger was the coach at La Crosse in Westville. Bill Berger was the guy who came to both these little schools that just really hadn't had much success, and he brought a culture to those schools where they were winning and winning championships. And he laid the foundation for great success. I mean, when Bill was at La Crosse only had like 110 kids in the whole high school. They played LaPorte in a regional in 91. They lost by 12. They outscored LaPorte in 3 or 4 quarters. Had they had about 2 more players, that little rinky-dink school of 110 kids would have beaten the mighty LaPorte Slicers at the basketball tournament back in the one class day. I mean, Bill was the kind of a guy where, and I could tell when there's a guy who's a really good coach, when his former players come back and they stand up for the guy and really admire what he did for them, not just in basketball, but in life. And Bill Berger had that with guys that played for him. I mean, he really did.
You got a Chelsire cat grin on your face. What are you grinning about, man?
I'm just reading what our other friends are talking about. Scott, let's take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about IU football real quick, and with our phone guest, and then we'll talk to Austin here in a little bit. So run us to a break, would you please?
All right, we will be back here with more of these guys, and standing by is Austin Huff from the Tribune. But we have a one quick special guest that I will get on the phone here momentarily. We'll be right back.
Medicare plans can be confusing, but they don't have to be. I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I can help you compare your options because I'm appointed with many nationally recognized carriers. With my help, you can find the coverage that fits your needs and budget. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Facing the loss of a loved one can be overwhelming, filled with questions and stress. Han Funeral Homes in Mishawaka is here to provide compassionate support during these challenging times. With a deep commitment to the families they assist, Han Funeral Homes aims to deliver exceptional care and service. Their dedicated team of experienced funeral directors and staff is ready to guide and support you through every aspect of funeral planning. Located at 505 West 8th Street in downtown Mishawaka, Han Funeral Homes invites you to reach out at 574-255-1474 or visit their office for personalized assistance. Han Funeral Home, a family serving families. Looking to get your driver's license and hit the road with confidence? Choose Fricks Driving School, Northern Indiana's top-rated driving school. At Fricks, they offer expert instruction for anyone aged 16 and up, tailored to help you master the skills you need for a lifetime of safe driving. Their experienced instructors ensure you're well prepared for both the written and behind-the-wheels tests, and one of those instructors is our very own Coach King. Located on Addison Road in Mishawaka, they provide flexible scheduling and personalized lessons to fit your needs. Plus, they offer the state driving test in-house for just $65, making the process even more convenient. Call them today, 574-256-0650, or visit fricksdrivered.com to learn more. Hey, we are back with more Coach's Corner with Heck and King here on Monday, November 4th at Dorbin's Old Pound Tap in South Bend. Without further ado, we have the special guest who has remained anonymous up to this point, but we will lead him in. Special guest, who the heck are you?
Hey, hold on. Hey, give me before we get a guest on, give me some more tunes from the Black Sedan, man.
You can't dance, so hold still.
Oh no!
Maybe
Stop! I gotta
move your
stop
hands.
that. Stop that.
Maybe just move your hands. There you go. Do some John
God,
Travolta.
that's great tunes. Anyway, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. We're kind of having a fun night tonight, a little goofy night. We have IU to talk about.
Right, but before we do that, we have breaking news.
Fire, baby.
Fire away. Yes, according to Chip Brown from Horns 247 Sports, their insider, he is reporting that Notre Dame and Texas have agreed to a home-and-home series in 2028 and 2029.
Yeah, so wait a minute. Are those the people that say Notre Dame doesn't play anybody?
I guess.
Yes.
Who they getting
Oh,
rid
that's
of?
me.
Northern Illinois or
Miami of Ohio, yes.
Oh, they're getting rid of Miami of Ohio?
But yeah, they are going to be playing
play Texas.
Yep, they're going to finalize the all the paperwork, and it looks like Notre Dame and Texas will be playing in 2028.
I mean, I can't tell you how.
Will we still be alive by then?
I've never
still
been
have the
this
tailgate.
excited. I've never been this excited since I heard Billy Joel was coming to Notre Dame and there was going to be a concert. I'd never been this excited till there was sleeting rain coming down sideways and Garth Brooks was on a
That was
stage.
Garth Brooks, yeah.
Garth Brooks was coming on a stage. Hey, so one of the things and Pat, I got to tell you this. there's a lot of different things that people use for their mind health. I use Magic Mind. Come on, man. Mental performance shot, and it's really, really good for you, man. It reduces stress. It helps you with your focus and your clarity. Keeps you steady. I just think I've been using it for I don't know 3-4 months now, and I can really tell that my mental capabilities have improved to where I can actually function on this show. I can function on the show because I remember stuff. You can function.
You got Magic Mind.
Yeah, you can function because you read comments from Johnny Be Good, and it's you know what, real easy for Johnny Be Good to write comments and crack on us. But Johnny Be Good's got to remember he started this deal.
All right.
He started this deal. But Magic Mind, magicmind.com, pull it up and type in Coach's Corner 20, and you'll get some discounts. I'm a believer in it. I'm a believer in health for your mind, and Magic Mind is the ticket.
Right now, here's my Magic Mind.
No, right on. You know what I say to you? Right on, because I
can't
have.
do that.
No. I got the greatest liver doctor in the world.
I know.
So keep throwing them down, and when shit happens,
There we
just
go.
call my guy.
There we go.
There you go.
Kim, say hello to everybody. Welcome. You see what
Heck,
I'm having
how's
to
it
put up
going?
with.
What? I didn't know you were calling Woody.
How's it going?
Oh, dear.
I'm doing really good, man. Hey, Kim, not only do I got a broken neck, I got to hang with these two slaps on Monday nights, man. Come on, man. Help me out here. Help me out. So how are you doing?
Good. I've known Pat way longer than I've known you, so be careful.
I know you have, and I love Kenny. I love Pat. We have a blast here, but you're kind of in the same boat. Well, not really, but the Indianapolis Colts are not very good, and the Indianapolis Colts. And I don't know if you would blame that on Chris Ballard. I don't know who you would blame that on, but the selection. I mean, what is your feeling on the number 5 selection or 7 selection or whatever it was of Anthony Richardson, quarterback out of Florida?
Well, my deal with them is it starts at the top and trickles down. So, they've had 8 years to figure out that quarterback thing, and you got to admit they're worse today than they were the day after Andrew Luck left. Would you say that?
No, without question,
Yeah,
man.
good point.
No.
Without question, man.
Oh.
Without question.
So you got to blame that on the guy making the decisions.
Yeah, well, so I mean, so are you saying that you would blame that on Irsay, or are you saying you would blame that on the GM,
That's
or
Ballard.
what?
Both of them.
I mean, Irsay's just happy to be here, right? He's had a tough life. He's put himself in rough situations, and he's
I don't
just
think-
kind of. Go ahead.
In general, he's doing very well health-wise.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But
Well, I didn't have any problem with him drafting Anthony Richardson, but I thought they should have let him sit a couple years like Green Bay did with Love and Atlanta's doing with Michael Penix. And, the kid was young and he hadn't played a lot. You need to let him sit a couple years and see what it's all about.
yeah, and so they did. I mean, they did bring quarterbacks in. Gardner Minshew. I didn't think Gardner had a bad year for the Colts last year. Did you?
No, not compared to some of the other ones. Boy, they've had some doozies. I'm probably the only one that remembers the first game after Luck left. They started Scott Tolzien. Remember that beauty?
I remember
How could I
Scott
forget?
Tolzien was a backup quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was terrible.
And he was from
First
Wisconsin, if I want to say.
Yeah,
Correct.
first pass he threw in his first game was a pick six,
Oh man, gosh.
and
Yeah.
then they rushed out and got Jacoby Brissett from New England, and we see how that worked out. So
Yeah.
they really made some boo-boos.
So you go to every home game. You're a diehard Indianapolis Colts fan and a Hanover College fan. So you go to every home game, and what's the sentiment? When you walk in the building, I mean, what's the sentiment of the fans there?
Well, up till now, it really hasn't been that bad. I mean, they're selling out every game, and and people around where I sit, are just still positive and upbeat.
I think you'll find out this coming Sunday, won't you, with the next home game?
Yeah, because there won't be some of their home games this year, like the Bears and the Steelers. Man, there was a lot of out-of-town folks there, but there won't be this week. I mean, there'll be some Buffalo, but I don't know. We'll find out.
Yep, we'll find out. Well, hey, let's talk some college football real quick. Tell me what you know, your opinions in that area about IU football. What are you hearing about there? Have you been to an IU football game?
Not this year, no.
I know.
Here's my thoughts. I've sat through some really, really rough stuff. And right now, I still feel like it's a dream. I really do.
It's not. It's not.
I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and they're 1-7. So
no,
I understand.
They're for real.
I totally understand. Like you said, you've been there.
So in this era of college football, it's different because you can go into IU if you're Curt Cignetti and you can say, man, these 20 players right here, these 20 players are terrible, and you can tell them to leave, and then you can go out in the portal and get 20 really, 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 really good players, and you can turn things around a lot quicker than you used to be able to.
Yeah, that's the key. And he says, and I really have a hard time believing this, where they got 13 kids from James Madison.
Right.
He said that he didn't know they were coming until after he signed with IU. I find that a little hard.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But really the point being, and when they interviewed him, when he came out and talked and did all this stuff, he said, I just win. I win. Someone asked him a question. He said, just Google me.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. Just Google him and see what his career is like, and then give him a chance. And I mean, I'm telling you, man, at 8-0.
Did you ever live to see the day where Indiana would be a 14-point favorite on Saturday versus Michigan?
Versus Michigan. No,
versus
I
Michigan.
never.
Versus Michigan. Yeah.
What I like about him is a couple things. If you look at him when he's on the sidelines, you can't tell if he's up 48-0 or down 48-0.
Yeah.
He's busy coaching.
But he's so intense. And then I don't see any hot dogging from any of their guys. Like, if you make a tackle and you jump up and celebrate like you just hit the lottery, I don't see any of that. So I think those guys expect that, and they just are going out and doing their job.
Yeah, and that's the culture that he established in the building from day one, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And so when you're talking about, and I think, I mean, I don't know, Woody and Pat, we've been around a lot of coaches, and I can say this much. I mean, some coaches just innately have it.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know what the definition for it would be. There would be a lot of different definitions, but I know some coaches that have great pedigree. They've been around great people, but they don't have it. And you know it when you walk in the building and you see how everybody's acting, how everybody's working, how all the assistant coaches are. And I would say 100%. That Curt Cignetti would have it.
He's
right?
got it. That's
He's got
for
it,
sure.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, Kim, I just wanted to get on real quick. In a couple of weeks, we'll call you back and let's talk some IU basketball. Give them a chance to
Hey,
play.
Woody, I ain't done with you. Hold on, man. Come on, Woodrow. I mean, I'm not done with Woody.
Put you guys
Woody,
on a private
We
line.
got a guest that's waiting for us.
All right, hold on. We got the best guest in America here. Kim, hey, Woody. So does he remind you of somebody else, maybe?
Stop.
Does
he? No, he's not that brash.
Well, he's not that brash yet.
How about the guy before him?
I don't know.
Oh, no, he's the total opposite of that guy.
That's okay.
No, I kind of do a little bit now. Yeah, and take some of that garbage stuff out. But when the general came, it was his culture, man. It was his culture, and I mean, IU was in a downturn in basketball, and the general came in and did his thing, and so So the one thing that I will say, and then we can do what we got to do here. Here's the deal. He's gonna, and obviously he may go to a bowl game this year. I hope he does. Next year he may be really good again next year. But after next year, will the SEC, will the ACC, will they come trying to poach him with big money?
No.
And will he say, "Nah, I'm going to stay at IU for $4 million" when he could get $10 million at some one of the SEC schools?
Well, that's hard to say. I mean, what I'm concerned with now, though, is he starting to lose coordinators, because he's had some guys that have been with him a long time, and you'd hate to see even those guys go.
Yeah, that's true, because his whole infrastructure came with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he never had to sit in a meeting and coach coaches. He had coaches that knew. And there's a big difference when you got to spend time coaching coaches how you want things done. Hey, Woody, please tell the lovely Miss Donna Wood that we all said hi. I know she's the love of your life, and we all know she runs the show at your house, and that's okay, man. I know who runs the show at my crib, so that's okay, man.
That's just part
She's
of
watching
it.
Duke right now. They got their first game tonight, so she's into that right now.
Hey, Cooper Flag, man.
There you go.
There's some good basketball on starts tonight. Kim, thanks for coming on short notice.
Okay, guys.
Appreciate it.
Hey, great talking to you, Woody.
Call me again.
All righty. See ya.
God, he's the best.
Isn't he fun? Appreciate
He's the
it.
best. He's a huge. So who is your biggest New Prairie fan that you would know?
Oh gosh,
Is there one guy that sticks out?
Steve Wade, our PA announcer.
Okay, he is the biggest Anderson Indian fan
Yes, he
in
is.
the history of Anderson Indian sports.
Yeah,
He's been-
Steve is that way.
That's really cool. So, do we have Austin on this show?
We do. Let's
He
Has
is.
Austin been waiting for a long, long time?
He's been very patient.
he just,
Austin,
Oh man, what's
I'm a
going
patient
on?
man.
Austin just
I'm a
got
patient man.
he just learned what Hecklinski time is.
Hey, look! If I can't be the greatest guest in the world, I'll take second greatest.
Yeah, you could be 1B. You can be
I
1B.
can't follow Woodrow Wilson or whoever this talk, but
Kim
yeah.
Wood.
Oh
Kim
boy,
Wood.
I don't think you want to follow Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson's the worst president ever by a lot.
Hey, let's
James Buchanan is right there at the
some
top too.
Indiana, some high school football, man, because I know how much you study it. I know when you come out with your ratings. I know there's sometimes I say some things about them, but I know you've studied them enough to know and to be able to defend why you put people in certain numbers that you do. So talk some Indiana high school football with us, man.
It's a broad question.
Yes, it is.
I guess we'll start with where I just came from, which was Northwood practice, and went down and doing a story on the Panthers, who have played technically 6 quarterbacks this year, one per win that they have.
Wow.
5 real quarterbacks have played snaps. One kid has come in for mop-up duty in a couple of the later games. But if you go by the number of players that have thrown a pass and completed a pass, that's 6 this year. So, and they have 6 wins. So crazy, especially because last year they had Owen Rader lead the state in passing. There was no question who the quarterback was. But this year it's been, first guy started 4.5, played 4.5 games. The next guy played 1 game, a half of one and then half of the other. And then they had to put the running back in for a game and a half. And then they pulled up a freshman to play for a couple of games. And now Luke Kime is the newest quarterback. He actually was a Wawasee transfer, had to wait 365 days to be eligible. He finally becomes eligible for the sectional semifinal. He doesn't come in until the 3rd series. He plays well enough to where they keep him in the game, and he leads them to a victory over St. Joe in the semifinal of the sectional.
Oh my, that's a story, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's crazy. It is. Look, Nate Andrews is one of the best coaches in the area. He's won multiple sectional championships, taken 2 teams to state. This arguably is his best coaching job and his staff's best coaching job, just given of all the injuries, not even just at quarterback. They've had offensive line injuries. They've had some defensive injuries. They're finally kind of fully healthy now for the first time really all year. And so, look, they got Mishawaka Friday night. It's at home. Should be a great game. Mishawaka obviously is very strong this year, but I mean, given all of Northwood's come through, you can't count them out. It's just kind of more. They're kind of one of those programs historically in the area that you could just never count out.
Will this Wawasee will this Wawasee quarterback, will he play against Mishawaka?
The sense is that he is playing. Yes. Yeah. The sense is that he's going to start. So they didn't originally plan on him playing the full game, or playing the rest of the game when he came in. But Nate Andrews was like, circumstances kind of forced our hand, and we played him at quarterback, and he went 10-12 for like 130 or 150 yards or whatever, and 2 touchdown passes. So like he got him in position to kick a field goal to send the game to overtime. Like he did a good job. He's played JV all year, so he was the JV quarterback. So it's not like he hasn't not played reps in a game. It just hasn't been varsity football.
Austin, you were at the game Friday night, the St. Joe Northwood game?
I was not. I was at Marion and Jimtown, and that game was crazy. Well,
I was just looking at some. We actually watched some of it on. We were over in Hobart, and we watched some of it on live on a different tab that I had opened up. And last I remembered, it was they were getting into field goal range, and we said, Northwood's field goal range is just anything across midfield.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
with a kicker that's hit a couple 60-yarder field goals this year.
Yeah.
So
it was just a state record, 62-yard field goal. I actually saw that in person against Concord. 62-yard field goal.
They had to kick a field goal. They were behind. St. Joe had the thing, under control, and then Northwood comes down, kicks a field goal to put it into overtime, and then ends up winning in overtime. So huge comeback for Northwood just to get where they are. So that was impressive. Well, hey, while we're at that. Let's stay there in the same sectional. You've got Northwood. You had Mishawaka beating up on Plymouth, so you've got Northwood and Mishawaka Friday night. Give me a preview. What are you thinking on that? How's that going to go? You have any opinions?
No, Mishawaka by 27, right?
Yeah.
No, Jim Andrews Field now.
You got to remember who we're dealing with here.
Yeah, I know who I'm talking to. So, look, first off, Mishawaka versus Northwood, it just feels like a sectional final, right? You hear those two programs, and you're just like, this is sectional championship football. November 8th, right? Like chilly, 50 degrees. Like, I kind of wish Northwood still had the grass field so we could get like a muddy field,
Yeah,
like it
good point.
Would be perfect, but it's on the turf. Look, Mishawaka won the regular season game 35-19. For whatever that's worth. That was also September 13th. It was, almost 2 months ago now. Yeah. So, look, Mishawaka, I think they've had the harder path than Northwood to get to this game. Like, as far as like impressive performances against quality teams 2 weeks in a row, Mishawaka is playing the best of the area teams. I feel like Northridge was a scrappy 3-6 team, even though the record wasn't that great, but Northridge was at a pushover, and then Plymouth was having one of its best seasons, in a half decade, and they were able to take care of them pretty convincingly. So, I like what Mishawaka is doing right now. Their defense has just been awesome. They've been shut down, lights out kind of defense all year, really.
And I think they've got some people healthy now too. They've been missing a few people that I've heard.
Both Snyder brothers, Jackson the senior and Landon the sophomore. Jackson anchoring the defense, Landon leading the offense. Like they've looked the part of like a 4A contender. And but I guess like I said, Northwood's just there, man. They're just like, how do you count them out? Like they're one of those teams, and they've kind of overcome everything to be here. Did they have a slightly easier path to get to this final? Yeah, but St. Joe was not an easy game by any stretch. That was a pretty even game, that someone had to go out and win, and then Northwood found a way to win it. It's a championship DNA, right? Well, Mishawaka has that DNA too, having won sectionals in 5A the last couple of years. So this should be a tremendous game. I'm looking forward to it a lot. It's actually the game I will be at on Friday night, so I'm looking forward to this game.
Well, in that same bracket, a week from now, then they'll have to play the winner of East Noble and Fort Wayne Dwenger. East Noble.
No, they play New Prairie.
They play the winner of Hanover. Let's just go to them. Hanover Central and New Prairie. We've seen New Prairie a bunch. We've seen tape on Hanover Central. I think that game being at New Prairie is going to be a big advantage for New Prairie, just being a home game.
I agree. And first off, the guts of New Prairie last week to go for 2 in the win at the end of the game is remarkable. You knew that's again in the last decade or so, they have been a program where you just you can count on them basically to be here. They have that DNA of we are going to win this game. We have the experience, the pedigree, the skill. It's well coached. Whether it had been Russ Radke or now Casey McKim, right? They just find a way to do it. And that was another game this past week. 2 years in a row, the sectional semifinal game on the road has given them troubles. Remember, they almost lost to Kankakee Valley last year. That game went to overtime. But they go on the road this year and beat Hobart. And so they have that DNA, that pedigree. They're going for 4 sectionals in a row. Not many senior classes in this area can say they've won 4 sectionals, in football, except Penn in the 90s.
Right.
But, so they have that. Obviously, Hanover's a good team, though. Hanover Central has, played well this year. They have another Bowen, playing linebacker, right? So 103 tackles, 5 interceptions. Kid's really good. They got a good running back that I was looking up earlier.
Bartolomeo.
Barrett with 24 touchdowns on the ground. So
they get a good running game.
And here's
obviously New Prairie runs it well too. So I mean, it feels like if anyone wants to throw the ball potentially and win this game, that might end up being the deciding factor of who completes more passes, because it feels like both rushing attacks are very solid.
And then here's the thing, Austin, and I want your thoughts on this. Hanover's played on turf all year. This is their first experience on the grass. And especially going out there in November, Lord knows what the field's going to be like Friday night. But
I would recommend practicing on the grass all week just to kind of rough it up a little bit,
have the sprinklers. But from Hanover's perspective, this is really kind of a major disadvantage for them having to play on grass when they haven't played all year on grass.
Yeah, that feels like a disadvantage. You feel like the good teams can overcome that, right? Is Hanover good enough to overcome it, or will that be, I don't know, a built-in excuse, basically? That's what's going to happen. We're going to find out, I guess, on Friday night. The playing surface should not matter if you're a good team, unless it's just completely useless. You know what I mean? To me, that shouldn't make a difference unless it's a downpour and the field is just completely garbage. And just make sure you have the right cleats on and you're fine.
Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, let's just jump over to the big boys real quick. Let's go to 6A. You mentioned Penn.
Yeah.
Do they have a chance? We talked to Chuck Freeby last week about the possibility of a Crown Point Penn game, and it was a real quick, short conversation. Let's put it that way.
Look, they have it's hard to say no because they're Penn, right? But Crown Point's playing at a different level, it feels like. Now, Penn played this new kid at quarterback this past week, Brody Cashin. He threw for 186 yards, a touchdown. He ran for a touchdown. I don't know if he's going to play or if Kellen Watson's playing. I haven't checked in on that. I don't know if Kellen was injured or not, or it was coach's decision. I'm not going to speculate what it was, but they have a couple guys that are really nice skilled players. Like Tayshawn Bardo is a really good, Division I recruit and wide receiver. Jaden Parker is a good running back for them. If they hit a couple big plays, that is going to be the key to their success in winning this game. They're going to have to hit, it feels like at least a 70-yard touchdown pass or a 75-yard run. Maybe get Crown Point playing on their back foot, hesitating just a little bit. So that is kind of where I see as Penn's chance is they have to kind of hit those home run plays. Otherwise, if it's kind of a standard game, Crown Point, I think, will win comfortably. I still think Crown Point will win, but if Penn does have a chance, it's going to be, the big play, basically.
Yeah, I agree.
And the defense making maybe a special teams block, another blocked punt like they had this week against Lake Central. It's going to have to be some sort of combination of 3 or 4 big plays across the board.
Hey, Austin, let me ask you this question. LaVille got no shot against North Judson, right? Zippity doodah. Zip.
Yeah. As much as I love my folks down in Lakeville, I love, LaVille Lancer Nation. North Judson's the best team in 1A. They'd probably win 2A at this year too.
Yeah.
And honestly have a case in 3A. given they beat Knox by 3 touchdowns, and Knox might be the best team in 3A in the North. Yeah, they're North Justin's insane. You
They're
look at
pretty good.
every number is insane. They're first in the state in points, third in points allowed. Gives you a 48 points win differential. So yeah, they're incredible.
They would be good enough. They'd be good enough to beat some of the bad 4A and 5A teams in the North.
Yes, I personally think they are the best 1A team in the North since the Pioneer Jack Kaiser group.
Wow, that's a pretty serious
Well,
company.
and speaking of Pioneer, they put a waxing on Carroll from Florida this weekend. Carroll was a top 5 team, and it was like 40 something to
undefeated.
Yeah, 40 something to zip.
Yep.
So hey, let's just keep picking your brain. 5A, 2 teams you've seen. Warsaw at Concord. That's a rematch.
Great game. Yeah, great game. First time around, Concord rallied to come back and win. They threw a touchdown pass to Derek Gomez with like 35 seconds left. I'll tell you what, like Concord, what a story, right? 10-0 against that schedule that they've played, at least, especially the first 6 games that they had were brutal. Elkhart and Jimtown and Northwood and Mishawaka, Warsaw, Northridge, right? Like they rattled off some impressive wins there early. Then they have to go on the road to a solid 4-way North team, and they took it to them early. North almost came back and won it, but when you have Jerron Thomas, you can solve a lot of problems, right?
Yep.
This is obviously it's going to take maybe a couple more weeks of Concord going deeper into the tournament and making a real run. But if Concord wins this week and maybe gets a regional title too, Jerron Thomas is in the category for Mr. Football, in my opinion. He's going to have all the numbers, right? Rushing and defensively. He's a beast on defense as well. So, and he's committed to Purdue. That helps the cause a little bit. Concord.
Stop. Does Purdue still have football?
Does he want to play for Ryan Walters?
Technically, they have a football program.
I thought their football program was just a training program to get athletes out for basketball now. But that's not true.
I'm sure Jerron Thomas can play basketball too.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Technically, they have a Purdue football program as of this current second. I can't guarantee you.
Okay.
Wait a minute. When was the last time IU played in the Rose Bowl?
Stop.
1967.
Yeah. When was the last time Purdue played in the Rose Bowl? It was still a long time ago.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
if they ever played.
Drew Brees made it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop. All right.
Well,
Hey,
Austin, real quick.
Anyway, I think Concord and Warsaw is a great game. Friday, Warsaw will have the motivation to get back
With a
at
rematch
them earlier, but
With 2 great coaches.
yeah,
And-
it's two great coaches, 2 great programs. Like there's a lot of good matchups in the area Friday night, which is how sectional finals should be.
Right.
And this is probably near the top of your list for a lot of people. Just this game will be great. So
And
it's like Jake Field's a great setting too. It should be a fun game out there in Dunlap. So
And don't underestimate Bart Ball in November.
oh, I mean, like it happened a couple of years ago in a similar way where Concord beat Mishawaka in the regular season in 2021, and then Mishawaka gets them at the sectional final again, in Dunlap, and it's a muddy, wet game, and Mishawaka, blows out Concord. And so, look, that has been in the back of my mind at least since his bracket came out. Is like, yes, it was Mishawaka, not Warsaw, but I mean, they're mirror images of each other. And you get to November and it's cold and it's harder to throw the ball a little bit. But again, when you have Jerron Thomas, and you can hand it off 30 times, that will help their cause. So.
Hey, I got one more for you before we let you go. 3A. You saw Mishawaka Marion last week. They've got to go to Knox this week. What's your opinion on that?
Knox by 50. Right?
I'm gonna knock
no.
you.
Rush
Come on,
Radke.
Coach. Come on, Hack. Come on. I know you don't like Marion, but
listen to me. Stop. I love Marion. You know why? Because my
Why?
brother was the head coach in Marion in the 70s and won 3 state championships in Marion.
You weren't even born yet.
I was a senior in high school. I was there,
yeah.
standing next to the Marion cheerleaders.
The press box named after him.
Yes,
Press box
exactly.
named after him. So
Yeah.
saw that the other night. Marion's got a chance. Look, Knox is good, obviously, and they have the state's leading rusher, Miles McLaughlin, 2,400 yards, 37 touchdowns, pretty good. And he's got a good counterpart, Jake Conroy, 1,500 yards, 24 touchdowns. So they're obviously they got a two-headed monster in the backfield. That is the key to beating Knox. Knox has looked mortal at times this year. They lost to Bremen even a couple of weeks ago, and Bremen, when they're healthy, is a good team. But Marion, if they throw the ball how they did like last week, Mitch Fimble to Deuce Owens was happening. It felt like every other play. If they can throw the ball that well, and if Brian Osmond, runs, even 75% of what he did on this past Friday, Marion definitely has a chance. They're not, it's not a LaVille North Judson scenario here. I think Marion has a legitimate chance to win this game Friday night, and it would be an upset, I guess. But
No,
they're such a great
I don't
program.
think so. I don't think
They're
it would
such
be.
a good program that it's like not an upset. It would be. I mean, it's kind of an upset. Knox is the defending sectional champ, and they have the more experience as far as tournament runs what the Marion players currently have.
And who else they got? They got the great Russ Radke. Come on, man.
Right.
They got Rusty.
If Knox makes a real run and gets to state, he'll be like the first coach in state history to go to the state finals with 4 different teams.
Oh, man, he's the best.
That's true.
Yeah.
Best.
So
Hey, Austin, thank you for coming on
no
early.
problem.
You get culture, you got an education on what heck time is, and so forth. We appreciate that.
What do you mean heck time?
it was a heck of a time. I'll tell you that much.
It was a heck of a time. Hey, Austin,
All I can tell you is
thank
practice schedules look just like what you just saw.
Yeah. And by the way, Austin, you're going to Napanee on Friday?
I will be in Anthony on Friday.
Have fun with that, by the way. And it's our secret as to why.
Hey, I'm on the field for most of the games. So
Okay.
my ears are safe.
Fair enough.
Hey, thanks, Austin, and
Yeah,
thanks
no
for your
problem.
coverage.
I'm gonna
of high
I'm gonna
school
let
athletics.
other people get in. So
That's
take
fair
it easy,
enough.
guys.
Thanks for your help. See ya. Scott, why don't you take us to a break? When you come back, we're going to talk to Allison Hayes and talk a little Notre Dame football.
Finding private health insurance can be stressful. What if it didn't have to be? I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I prefer to personally meet with my clients so I can get a better understanding of your needs and budget. I can even review your current coverage. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Facing the loss of a loved one can be overwhelming, filled with questions and stress. Han Funeral Homes in Mishawaka is here to provide compassionate support during these challenging times. With a deep commitment to the families they assist, Han Funeral Homes aims to deliver exceptional care and service. Their dedicated team of experienced funeral directors and staff is ready to guide and support you through every aspect of funeral planning. Located at 505 West 8th Street in downtown Mishawaka, Han Funeral Homes invites you to reach out at 574-255-1474 or visit their office for personalized assistance. Han Funeral Home, a family serving families. Are you ready to take the driving skills exam but haven't gone through formal driver's education? Frick's Driving School has you covered. If you're at least 16 years and 270 days old, which is like 9 months, and have held a valid Indiana learner's permit for at least 180 days, which is like 6 months, you can schedule your driving skills exam with Frick's. They provide the vehicle for the exam. Just bring yourself, a can-do attitude, and a ride to and from the office. The exam takes about 20 minutes, and appointments can usually be scheduled within a few days. And it costs $65. Call 574-256-0650 or visit fricksdrivered.com and book your exam today. Back with more Coach's Corner with Heck and King. We now get to welcome probably one of our most recurring favorite guests here. I hope you guys have the applause track ready because it is the one, the only, Allison Hayes.
Oh, thank you.
You get hex on the buttons, just be careful.
I'm getting
Allison,
heckled over here. I don't like it.
Allison, thank you for
Good to
coming
see ya.
on. It's nice to see you. You can see we've been very busy, and our time management skills need improvement. But we'll live. But I'm thrilled to death to have give you a chance to spend a few minutes with us. I know you've been very, very busy, and talk to us here before we talk about Notre Dame football. I'm gonna throw an unrehearsed question at you. So, of all the places you've been on road games this year, can you rank them? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a second? Where's the favorite place you've been this year that maybe you haven't been yet before
Just
this year? Yeah.
Well, just this year, then I'd have to say it was College Station, Texas A&M. That was a lot of fun. It was ungodly hot. I mean, I lived down in Florida. I knew what to expect on humidity and heat. It was so thick that you could hardly breathe. I mean, like you walked out the door and it was like getting hit in the face with just instant sweat.
Yes.
It was so hot.
Yep.
But man, I'm telling you, the people there were so friendly and so welcoming, and it was just a great environment, a great college town. There was so much to do, and we really have like bought in. The last couple of seasons we've started, when we do these road trips, we call them BTS, behind the scenes, and we kind of try to give you a feel, like our viewers, a feel of what it's like in that town, so that you kind of get an experience of being on the road game too. And that has completely changed the game for us. Like, it's been so much fun, and it makes us kind of get out there and trying different things. We always try to find like their linebacker, whatever is their linebacker of their town.
Sure.
And so we did that at Clemson last year, Louisville, Ireland. We went to Dublin last season. That was amazing. Just a once in a lifetime experience for us. And so, yeah, we're having a lot of fun with ABC 57 kickoff. That's for sure.
Yeah, I thought so too. And it's been fun watching, some of the things you guys have for your pregame show. And I was in College Station once, but it was like 35 years ago. And
that doesn't count. They were traveling in horse and buggy, so don't bring that up. Come on, man.
Hey, you're right. It is so hot when that weather comes off the Gulf of Mexico, which it is right now. Yet that's what you get. A lot of times I was up in Dallas, so we would get weather in the springtime from the Gulf, and like you said, it's just sticky hot. And in the fall, it's 100 degrees, but you're getting weather from the desert. The wind changes. Oh. You're getting it from West Texas. You're getting it from the desert. So it's a real dry heat.
The dry line.
Right, so what's our weather going to be like tomorrow? Because apparently this has turned into a weather show.
I don't have a clue.
Can we call Mike Hoffman?
I'm just saying it. So it did nothing for your hair down there in College Station. Is that true?
It's all straight.
No curls.
Mine doesn't get real frizzy or anything, but mine just goes completely like flat.
I like it.
How's it go? All right. Hey, we've got a Notre Dame team that had a bye this week, and it actually dropped in the polls a little bit, but does it really matter? It's the AP poll. Does it really matter that they dropped from 7th or 8th to 10th, not playing?
We'll find out tomorrow. That's when the one that matters, the one that counts.
Yeah, that's number
the
one.
AP poll is completely irrelevant now.
Yeah. Starting tomorrow, the AP poll really means very little.
Yeah.
Allie, I have a question, because I have certain people who said to me, Notre Dame doesn't play anybody, but you can't blame the university for scheduling Texas A&M, Florida State, and Southern Cal being as lousy as they are. When you look at this team, we had Bennett Wise on a couple weeks ago. If they go 11-1, one, do you think they're in, and two, do they host?
One, yes. If they go 11-1, I think they are in. I don't know if they're going to host. That's going to be the big question mark for me. The biggest thing that you can say about this schedule is, yes, it is weak. It's not as strong as it's been in years past. But like you said, when you're scheduling those teams, we all expected for Florida State to be, one of the better teams in the country, let alone on their schedule. Same for USC. All they can do is win. And what they have done so far is beat 3 teams ranked in the top 25. And that's better than some of the teams that are ranked ahead of them right now, including BYU and including where I have my notes over here, BYU and Boise State.
Boise State.
So you've got these teams that are ranked higher, and they don't have as many quality wins. And of course, the big thing that's going to hang over Notre Dame's head all season is going to be that NIU loss. And it's hung over my head as well as I've looked at this team throughout the year. But what you can say about this Irish team is that it is improving and trending upward throughout the season. And that offense is starting to really click.
Yep.
And we're seeing Riley Leonard do what he's supposed to do as a dual threat quarterback. And he's getting his numbers up there. And he's playing lights out right now. Now, granted, they haven't been doing all that against super strong defenses. But again, all you can do is beat the teams that you're playing on your schedule. And they've got 3 top 25 wins and potentially a 4th if they can beat Army in a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
I mean, you're exactly right. As a coach, as a former coach, they say, hey, you're going here tomorrow night, and that's who you're playing. Well, that's what you do. You prepare for that game, and it doesn't matter what people say about the schedule. The schedules in football are made so far in advance. With what we see now, Notre Dame is going to play Texas now. They just announced that, right, today.
Yep.
They're going to play Texas, so that's 3 or 4 years down the road. Here's a question that I have, and I think this has been a really, really big deal for Notre Dame. I think their offensive line has gelled, and I think they've gotten a lot better because early in the season, teams like NIU gave them trouble, on the defensive front. But Notre Dame's offensive line is getting better, right?
That O-line is definitely getting better, but it has been a work in progress, and they've dealt with a ton of injuries on that line. So they had to do what they had to do early on in the season. The biggest thing for last week, now 2 weeks ago, the last game against Navy, was getting Billy Schroth back, and he is expected to start again. He got that start over the freshman Sam Pendleton, so he's back in at left guard, and they played lights out against Navy. And then Rocco Spindler, he moved into that right guard spot, and he's staying put. He's played really well so far in that position. So it's a continuing to trend in the right direction.
Allie, when you look at them defensively, do you feel defensively that they can match up with just about anybody in the country, anybody's offense in the country? What's your thoughts on their defense?
I do. I mean, how could you not? They're doing everything right. Some numbers for you. I'm a numbers gal. I told Pat this. I love the numbers. Give me the numbers.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
My defensive stats for you right now are rankings. Right now, Notre Dame ranks 4th in the country in scoring. They rank 3rd in pass efficiency. They rank 6th in yards per play. They rank 11th in third down percentage, and they rank 6th in turnovers forced. That is incredible. That's in the top 11 in 5 different categories on defense. And when they lost All-American Benjamin Morrison in that secondary and put in a true freshman in Leonard Moore, they didn't miss a beat. And Georgia Tech was going at him. They targeted him 9 times in that game, and he had a mishap early on in the game, and then he made him pay for it later. And he finished that game with 7 tackles, and he had his first interception a week later. And so that defense, I'd be comfortable. That was one of the things even early in the season where it was hard to kind of know as you're trying to figure out, and the offense is so questionable. Where are they going to finish out? Are they going to be able to beat these other teams later on in the year? But in every game on Notre Dame's schedule, there was not one where I felt like that defense didn't have the advantage. The offense still a work in progress and still is a work in progress. And I do have concerns about how they will match up with the top tier teams in the country if they do end up making the playoff. Well, we'll deal with that when we get to it, right? But I think that defense matches up well against just about any team in the country right now.
I mean, I think they've done a great job recruiting that defense. They have the 2 big players inside, Riley Mills and Howard Cross. And then I would say everybody else on that defense is just a pure athlete, and they can go side to side as fast as almost anybody that I've watched in college football. And then you talk about Al Golden, their defensive coordinator. I think Al Golden has a love affair with the University of Notre Dame because I believe Al Golden could go and do whatever he wanted to do if he wanted to go back and be a head coach again.
Right.
Completely agree with you. I was going to say that before you even said it, that Notre Dame is fortunate to still have him here. I don't know that he wants to become a head coach again. From what I've heard from different insiders, he's looking more to get it back to the NFL. And so there was if that Cincinnati defensive coordinator job came open, that he might be going to the Bengals, but he's here in South Bend, and boy, that defense is playing lights out. And I don't know if he'll be here next season. So you got to do what you got to do while you have him.
We talked about Riley Leonard at the quarterback position. One of the things we've talked about every week is that with him being injured last spring, that he missed, the connections with the receivers and stuff. He tried to make up for it some in the summer, but we came to the conclusion that August and September were really his spring practice,
Yes.
and
He-
it
he said
showed.
that.
And
yes,
it showed.
absolutely. We talked to him about that after the Navy game, and that he said that he was like it missing winter and spring workouts and even some of summer was a lot harder on him than he expected, and it made that transition to a new playbook and to a new offense, to a new offensive coordinator, to a new team, a new school, new program. It made all of that more difficult maybe than he kind of originally expected. But the one thing that kid has is just confidence, and it's never wavered. And when you see him make a mistake, he rebounds from it really well, really quickly. And when all that talk was going on around him and everybody's saying, oh, take him out, put Steve Angeli in, he's no good, he's a bum. He didn't listen to any of that. And he had the support of his teammates around him.
She must have been reading my text after the Northern Illinois loss.
That was everybody's.
Yeah, Allie, when you look at the Final Four games, counting this week with Florida State, in your opinion, which one is the most dangerous in terms of where Notre Dame could get upset?
The one I'm honestly, and I probably shouldn't be, but the one I'm most maybe a little bit nervous about is USC. I just think
Really? Okay.
I don't think their record is reflective of the team that they are. I mean, they've lost some really close games. I believe
Right.
that have all been on the road in that gauntlet of a Big Ten schedule and crossing the country multiple times throughout the season. I think they're going to hate that long term, and they may have regrets on that decision. But what do you do when you're out on the West Coast like that? They had to join a conference, and so they went that route. But that's the only one where it's just. But granted, now I've talked about this. I do 960 AM with Darren Pritchett at WSBT Radio, and we talked about this last week where. That game obviously is the make or break game of their season. But at the same time, after that loss to NIU, every game on their season has been make or break for them. One additional loss anywhere along the way, and their playoff hopes are done.
Yeah,
so,
Right. Exactly.
That's where I see Marcus Freeman as really becoming, a better young head coach because he's taking one game at a time, but he makes his players aware of the NIU deal almost in every game plan for everything coming up. And I think you have to do that because I don't think you can say, hey, Florida State's not playing well. They've not had a good year, but they're capable of coming out from an athletic standpoint and playing Notre Dame well. And so Marcus Freeman is saying, guys, remember NIU. I mean, remember it. And I think that is a really, really intelligent thing that he's done with that.
I think that is a part of maybe overestimating the maturity of this team early on in the season and thinking that they didn't need to remind them of what happened with Marshall the season before. That was so shocking to me that needed to be reminded because they should never forget. I would have been playing that Marshall game in the locker room at every practice, every meeting, let those guys remember what that felt like and what that was like, because so they wouldn't relive it. And they did. They relived it again against NIU at home of all places. But I'm glad he's doing it now because they need to learn from that. They need to let that sting. They need to be embarrassed by that so that it doesn't happen again this season. They cannot afford for that to happen again to a good team, let alone to an NIU team that, went on to be a middle of the road team in the MAC. So just inexcusable there. But yes, I think we're seeing Marcus Freeman mature quite a bit as a coach this season, more than in the previous two as well. This is year 3 for him. It's sort of that make or break year 3 for Notre Dame football coaches. And we're seeing a lot of improvement from him. We're seeing improvement in in-game situations. We're seeing improvement in halftime adjustments. That was a big issue the first 2 seasons where they might have a lead in the first half, and then they'd come out flat in the second half and the other team would come back and make a run at them or upset them and win. So we're seeing more maturity, I think, from Freeman as well. But, all of that is a process. And you hired a head coach with no head coaching experience, and he had to learn on the job and one of the highest profile programs in the entire college football landscape.
Well,
so
yeah.
you had to allow him to do that.
Yeah, and then you bring in Mike Denbrock to stand by his side and say, Mike, you take the offense. And I think bringing Mike Denbrock back here was a genius move.
Absolutely. And take a look at what he did at LSU as well. They didn't start off with Jaden Daniels having the biggest, most successful offense in college football. It took games. It took a while for them to start clicking and gelling together. And then Jaden Daniels goes on and wins a Heisman Trophy. I'm not saying Riley Leonard is going to do that, but there is a process and there is time that needs to be taken. Some numbers I'd like to throw out to you about Riley, just because I think this is interesting as well. We talk about trending upward. The team is trending upward. Riley Leonard is trending upward. But what we've seen the most improvement from him before the bye week, the first bye, and then where we've seen him since the bye week in the following 3 games, he's improved in 6 categories, guys. Completion percentage, passing yards per game, passing touchdowns, passing rating, QBR, and interceptions thrown. All of those have improved. The only place that he slightly had a little bit of a downturn was rushing numbers, but hey, that's okay. What he's done, he's averaging now 55 yards per game. But what's important is his numbers for yards per game and attempts. He's becoming much more efficient with those runs as a runner within the offense, and he's maintaining 6 yards per carry, but with significantly less attempts. So that's incredible. And the first 5 games, he was averaging 12 carries a game. After the bye, he's now averaging about 8 carries per game. He doesn't need to be the leading rusher on the team. We've got running backs, a stable of solid running backs that can do that.
Hey, segue into that. Tell me who these running backs are. Who's your MVP right now on the team?
Well, no, everybody, right? I'm guessing you're going to say the same thing. Jeremiah Love. I mean, that first of all, that room is absolutely loaded, and he's not getting, if he was the workhorse and he was getting 20 carries a game like he probably should be, or at any other program, he would be a Heisman front runner. Right now, he's getting about 10, 12, somewhere in there, I believe, and he's competing against Riley Leonard for those carries. But then you also have Jadarian Price, and that is a duo. This is cool. Dylan McCullough, the running backs coach, he tweeted out this information, and I just think it's really cool. Love and Price are the only duo to rank in the top 15 in the FBS in yards after carry, and that's per rush. Those two as a duo are both ranked within the top 15, and the entire running backs room is averaging 4.4 yards after contact per rush. After contact.
Wow.
That is 6th best in all of FBS right now. I mean, it's just awesome. And I listened to a podcast that he was on, Jeremiah Love, and he's like, I don't know how he pulled it off, but he's so he seems so humble and not selfish at all. But he straight up says, well, I think I'm the best running back in the country. And I think if everything's going right and everything's clicking, I should be a Heisman candidate. But he didn't sound cocky. He didn't sound arrogant. He just sounded confident and he believed in himself. And I'll tell you what, I believe in that guy too. And it's not just what he's doing when he has the ball in his hands. It's what he's doing when he doesn't. He is throwing blocks for the other guys on his team to make touchdowns, to get catches, to get long runs. That's what's been so impressive too, is how unselfish he has been.
Well, and that's what your pros are going to see too. Your pro coaches, your pro scouts, they're going to see what else does he do when he doesn't carry the ball.
Yeah, but he's not going to the pros, man. He's got another year or two back at ND here. And
I don't think so. I think this is probably our last year with Jeremiah.
Oh, seriously? I thought he was only a sophomore. I thought he was a sophomore.
I think he will be heading to the NFL this season.
That sophomore might have the letters RS before it.
Red shirt, yeah, red shirt. Well, my bad. I was hoping that we'd have him around because like you said, I think he's dynamic. I think once they, as an inside runner, as an outside runner, he's just so good. He's just really good.
Allie, I want to ask you something off topic here because I know you did a lot of work for years at the Big Ten Network. I want to get your thoughts on the great story down in Bloomington with Indiana football being 9-0. I mean, you covered it in the Big Ten. I mean, do you ever think you'd ever see this happen? Yeah. Did you ever think you'd ever see this where Indiana would be 9-0?
No, no, I did not. I will admit, I have a soft spot in my heart for IU. I loved that beat. I loved going down there. They were kind of always the lovable losers in a way. Football and basketball, when I covered them, they had so many close games, or it would come down right to the wire and then there'd be a buzzer beater and they'd miss it. It was it happened over and over again. I got to be there for a couple of great upsets, but not very often. And so to see what Curt Cignetti has done in one season there, now granted, their schedule has not been super tough. They've not played some of the elite teams in the Big Ten. They've got their toughest stretch here coming up to finish out the season. So we'll see what they're made of yet to come. But, they're not going to play against Oregon. They're not going to play against Penn State this season, but they do match up against Ohio State. So that'll be a really good test for them. But regardless, I mean, they're 9-0. That is amazing. They have a chance to make the playoff. I've seen them projected to possibly play up against Notre Dame in
How
the
nuts
play.
would that? How nuts would that be if it was here? Oh my goodness!
It would be crazy. I
be a
don't know
fun
how
one.
I feel about it, to be honest with you, but
Yeah, what would anybody wear? Because the same people that cheer for IU basketball are cheering for Notre Dame football.
yeah, exactly.
That's right.
That's for
They
sure.
got their
Allie,
reversible North Face jackets.
reversibles. Hey, Allie, before we let you go, tell us what a little bit about what we might be seeing on your pregame show Saturday morning.
But thank you for throwing that out. We are live, even though the game is late night. It's a 7:30 p.m. Primetime game. We are always live, 10 a.m. to noon. We are right outside.
I guess. Let me interrupt you. So that is that you're still 10 to noon. You won't be 4 to 6 or anything.
Nope. I wish, but no,
Okay,
we
just
are 10 to
checking.
noon.
Just checking.
So and
Well,
we're right
hey,
outside of.
you can come over to Cass's tailgate afterwards.
Oh yeah, okay. I plan on it. That's
Yeah,
or
this
our
is the one
tailgate.
that
Yeah.
this is the one that I get to go to all my friends' tailgates because we got some time to work with. So I try to get all over on the far ends, the Blue RV and all the way out to the Chivarelli's house. And I make my rounds on game day when we got a night game because I can get them all in. But yeah, we're right outside of Purcell Pavilion, gate 11. You can come and watch us in person. It's early. It's only Monday, so I'm still working on all of our live guests and everything. But we've had some great live guests this season, including Manti Te'o. We've had Sheamus from WWF. We've had Mike Golick. We've had a bunch of good guys. So you never know who you're going to see on the show, but we always have a great time. And you're welcome to come and watch us in person. You can watch us on TV on ABC 57. And we're streaming literally anywhere in the world on abc57.com. I know this because I streamed our show live at the bar we did our show from in Dublin, Ireland. So literally you can watch us anywhere in the world streaming.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
It sounds exciting.
Hey, can I ask one question before we let her go? Kind of on the macro level for Notre Dame as a program, do you think there's ever enough incentive for them to either join the Big Ten or any of these bigger conferences to where, because we're looking at a world where 2 losses for the power conference teams, they can still probably get in, but we're talking like 1 loss and Notre Dame is on the fence of even making the 12-team playoff. So at what point does the administration say, okay, we cannot live in a world where 1 loss could potentially end our season and the highest we're playing for is 5th?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, I think we all know that Notre Dame really wants to keep that independence as long as they possibly can. But we're going to find out here in this year and probably the next couple of seasons on how it plays out with this playoff model that they currently have. You nailed it. If you can still get in as an SEC team. Now, granted, that's the SEC, and it is no doubt about it. It is the best conference in college football by a long shot, in my opinion, better than the Big Ten from top to bottom. But we're going to probably see a couple of 2-loss teams from the SEC get in. Notre Dame may not get in with a 1 loss. I mean, they're literally considered still a bubble team for a lot of these different models. Yep. And they'll never, ever, even if they run the table and go completely undefeated against the number 1 strength of schedule in the country, they'll never get a first-round bye. Now, granted, I know they get their bye week during the championship, and that's cool, but they're always going to have to play in the actual playoff, that extra game. And down the road, they may discover that is not beneficial to them when you're playing that many games and you want to put yourself in the best position to win a national championship. And so they may discover that down the road, joining a conference is giving them that best chance, but we'll see.
So you think
it's going to be a hard pill to swallow though, Allie?
Oh, they would have so much pushback and fight against that. Well, for sure.
It goes back to if you own a business and it's making billions of dollars, like well, not billions, but it makes the kind of money that Notre Dame football makes, and you've got 18 or 19 suitors that want a piece of the pie. If you're a smart businessman, you say no, we're going to stick to our independence because you can still play Texas and Arkansas and Texas A&M and Miami and Wisconsin coming up down the road and Alabama coming up and now Indiana in a few years.
Well, they can do that in the Big Ten. Ohio State's playing Texas next year.
But Ohio State plays
Well-
grass, dirt, and piss. Okay, in the non-conference. Come on.
It's all about money, though, right?
No,
I
it's
No,
true.
they
More about
they were
money
going to
than
play.
title.
They were going to
There
play
we
Washington
go.
this year, and then Washington joined the Big Ten.
Well, I get so tired of people saying Notre Dame plays nobody, but let's take a look at Ryan Day's wonderful non-conference schedule, if we
Right.
can, please. So don't get me started on that.
Here we
crap.
go.
USC,
Don't get me going.
Oregon.
I
You're
think
not
they
wrong,
got-
though. I mean, look.
I think
same
they got
thing with
Manchester
SEC.
College on the schedule. next year.
Valparaiso.
So,
If
hey,
you look
Allison,
at
thanks.
SEC games, their schedule, their non-conference schedule are totally ridiculous. Their teams are
Oh, yeah.
terrible. That they're
Yeah,
playing.
Alabama plays the Citadel before they
Right.
play the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
But
So
they also play probably the toughest conference schedule in the country. So, there is a trade-off there. Notre Dame does play a really tough schedule, but they still always pack in a couple of cupcakes like NIU and Miami of Ohio. NIU came back to find in the
wait a minute,
boat this week.
cupcakes?
Yep.
The bakery was sour. Those cupcakes weren't done that day.
Exactly. I think
I like to
That's for sure.
I like to call them tomato cans, but it's the same reference. I get you. Cupcakes, tomato cans. It's the
Hey,
same.
you're
thing.
Allie. You're allowed to use tomato cans now too, if you want to.
Yes.
I
tomato
don't
cans.
quite get that reference.
It's an old baseball.
Yeah.
It's an old baseball.
it's an
reference.
old,
Ah, okay.
it's an old. So, and you don't remember this player for the Bears, a guy named Doug Buffone, who was on the score in
went to school
Chicago
with his son.
for 100 years,
Right.
and he would call every cupcake a tomato can.
Yep.
So. I think it's kind of cool, a tomato can. Hey, listen, thank you so
Thanks,
much
Allie.
for coming on. I know you got stuff rolling, and it is so good to hear your take on Notre Dame athletics because you're so good at it.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
guys. I appreciate it. I always
All right.
like coming
All
on
right.
when I can.
Saturday mornings, Channel 57, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Thanks, Allie.
Thank you guys. See ya.
Yeah.
Great,
Yes.
great.
Scott, why don't you take us to a break? We're going to come back and give our awards, our Fricks
Well, no,
Road
wait,
team.
Scott, you got to come back to me with Cody Choir for a minute, okay?
That's right. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Get us
We'll
to
get
a
our
break.
awards.
Hey, I did want to say something. Kenny is greatly discounting Ohio State's out of conference schedule because the previous 2 years that out of conference schedule included Notre Dame.
Kenny can't hear you. He's out looking at
Oh,
the food,
well.
man. So
I
take us
think-
to a break, big dog.
All right. I was gonna just do this one live. So here,
That's fine.
why don't you guys look at my face for a second so they can get a drink their beer or whatever. Now I got to mute him. Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance. Whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, call Tony at 574. I forget his number. I'm bringing up his website here. I'm just going to share it on the screen. How about that? It is 307-8882-tletcher.com, or you can do all this healthmarkets.com crap, but it's a lot easier to just do tletcher.com. He's been with us now. He's basically our flagship sponsor. So always appreciate Tony for supporting us. And then the other one's Han Funeral Homes in Mishawaka. We were talking about it earlier. If you yourself are dead, you can't call them. But if your loved ones love you and they want to put you in the ground properly, they'll call Han Funeral Homes at 574-255-1474 or visit the website hanfuneralhomes.com. It's Han Funeral Homes. It's plural. They've got a lot. They do a lot. Here's the website here. And then Frick's Driving School, which is the greatest driving school in northern Indiana. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. In the world. They produced me. I think I'm a pretty good driver. So, and Dad teaches over there at Frick's. So if you need driver's ed, if you've never driven before, you just need a refresher like Heck seems to, call them at 574-256-0650 and they'll hook you up. You can take the driver's exam, $65, or just get enrolled in driver's ed. And then I think I wanted to shout out the Black Sedan Band one more time. They hit the music here. I'll hit the music right now. Visit them. It's blacksedanband.com, or they're on YouTube. Just search for the Black Sedan Band. And here, we'll take it right back to Heck and King.
Yes, beautiful magic mind people, mental performance shots. Reduce your stress level that you might have. Steady yourself, your focus, your ability to have a lot of clarity, your ability to remember things, It's a beneficial thing that is built on a daily basis when you take the mental performance shot of Magic Mind. MagicMind.com. Look it up. Promo code Coach's Corner 20. Hey, we have the great Cody Quire, and Cody, this has been a great show. So you must be pretty good if you're on this great show tonight. But I know you're a wonderful Chicago Bear fan, and I want to commiserate with you for about 5 minutes on how pathetic the Bears are. What do you think, Cody?
Oh, hang on. Let me. I hit the wrong button. Filibuster, quick filibuster.
I got it. I mean,
Four score and 7 years ago. Our
all right, you get him on there. How about if I talk? Can we talk about my college stuff real quick while we're doing that?
Yeah.
All right, while we're doing that, we're going to give some awards out here, and I'll lead up to it. College football. I had 6 different road teams that had good games this weekend. First of all, Georgia wins at Florida. Texas Tech wins at Iowa State. Louisville wins at Clemson. Vanderbilt wins at Auburn. IU wins at Michigan State. Those are all road wins. But the biggest one that we'd have, and Scott has a chance, I know if he can multitask, run my little car across there, buddy, for Frick's Road Team of the Week. You got time to do that in one same thing?
Graphic. Yeah.
All right, there we go. My road team of the week. Ohio State had to go to Penn State.
Yeah.
Number 3 and number 4. Ohio State, Will Howard, the quarterback, 16 of 24, 2 touchdowns. Quinshon Judkins, 14 carries, 95 yards. They just flat beat them.
Well, no, they had to go do what
they had to go
do what they had to do.
Go to Happy Valley. They had to go on the road and win against the number 4 team in the country.
Sure.
3.
Number 3 and number 4. Yep.
Didn't give it up an offensive touchdown.
And you're exactly right. The only touchdown that Penn State scored was a pick 6. They led 10-0, and that was it for them.
Yeah, I think next year when they're doing their prep for Manchester College, they'll show some of these clips. They'll show some of the clips from the Penn State game, but I'm just joking.
My road
Ryan
team
Day.
of the week, Ohio State.
I like Ohio State.
But you had 6 different big games this weekend, conference games where the road teams won. As I said, IU, Vanderbilt, Louisville, Texas Tech, Georgia, and then the best one of the bunch was Ohio State and Penn State. So,
good choice. Give me your Dumbass of the Week award.
Scott, we got time to do the Dumbass of the Week right now. Do you have the video for me?
Of course. And I've got Cody on the phone too. So whenever I get the donkey, we'll throw him
Cody
on here.
In here. Yeah. All right. If you guys remember Thursday night.
Pull up this YouTube clip.
Yeah, we might just watch it. The Thursday night.
That's the third time you said Thursday night.
I'm looking at my notes, damn it.
He's filibustering.
Malachi Corley from the Jets going in for a touchdown. Drops the ball about the half-yard line as he goes in. We've seen it for numerous times. Somewhere, if I was a football coach and I would have flat. Watch this.
He's so excited. He thinks he scored. It was his first career touchdown, so he thought.
It might be his last.
As Corso says,
not so fast, midget.
Look where he drops the ball.
Yes, he did.
If I was a football coach, I would tell the players, before you let go of that ball, you go touch the goalpost.
You know what I would tell the players?
Hand it to the referee, whatever.
If you ever do that, keep running into the tunnel and into the equipment room, get changed,
and go home.
Get your own bus ticket. Cody, what's happening, man?
I'm doing good. Got a little one here, so just kind of doing the daily, nightly activities here. But been watching the pod here for a couple minutes now. So.
Good for you, man. So listen, because I know you're as big of a Bear fan as I am. Give me your thoughts. Maybe I'm too negative with it, but give me your thoughts.
Man, I don't even know where to start. So, I had a lot of people talking to me over the past couple of weeks here, and we're real excited. Caleb has a couple good games, strings them together, and then the wheels kind of fall off. Some people have to remember, I feel like, that he is a rookie. I know the roster is kind of built right now to win, but it does definitely get difficult when you're putting a new guy into the process. The accuracy in the Arizona Cardinals game got to be better. There's a lot of open receivers he had. I love his footwork when going through the progressions, but I don't ever feel like he gets really set on anything. So it gets kind of problematic when he's overthrowing guys by 1 yard or 5 yards or whatever. And I know he's trying not to make mistakes, but if you're an NFL quarterback, you can't have those misses. Cole Kmet this week, not part of the game plan at all. Why?
Yeah,
is the question.
Zero targets. Hey, Cole, you're one of the best tight ends in the league. Hey, Cole, let's not target you this week. Just block a little bit, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because whenever the Bears have had success, it's been when Cole Kmet has been good over the middle. He's supposed to be your third down guy as well as Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen dropped pass on third down this week. Won't forget that one. But yeah, Cole Kmet is probably, I would say, one of the most important pieces in the offense. So, I mean, you got to throw the ball to him at least. I know that there was a lot of incompletion, so what does it really matter? But Cole Kmet's got to have some targets.
Yeah, and so here's the biggest question I want to throw at you. The culture in the building. Because number one, a player would not do that on a Hail Mary pass. The first 20 seconds of the play, he's arguing with the people in the stands. Now, a player that played for Bill Belichick, he wouldn't do that. Player that played for Bill Parcells, he wouldn't do that because they would fear the ramifications of what would happen to them from that head coach. When Tyreek Stevenson did that, that tells me that, I don't know, maybe they don't fear the ramifications that are coming from Flus. And so that tells me that maybe the Matt Eberflus doesn't have the right culture in that building. And then in the game against the Cardinals, I see the play where DJ Jones steps off the field and the play's still rolling.
Yes.
And the play's still going on. Now, when you play that in front of your team on Monday morning, is your head coach ripping your head off like he should? Or is it just one of those, oh, okay, Tyreek, oh, yeah, we'll talk about it later. Hey, DJ, yeah, we'll talk about it later. No, it's got to be a deal where that coach rips your head off and players fear that
or
when they're in the building.
Or threatens to cut you.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I remember when Matt Eberflus got hired. Quite honestly, I think Ryan Poles is probably an upper echelon GM, in my opinion, based off what he's had to work with and what he's gotten done. His whole selling point to all Chicago Bears fans has been, well, Matt Eberflus builds the culture. Matt Eberflus does this. Matt Eberflus does that. But nothing ever seems to break through on Sundays. The defense is good. When Montez Sweat plays, other than when Montez Sweat plays, they're not very good. If you're going to come out and say that the best thing about him as a coach is the culture, I mean, Tyreek Stevenson celebrating in the end zone before the game's over, it's not a good thing. And if you're weighing that over everything else that he does as a head coach, then I think in a pass and fail system, I think that's a major fail. And
yeah, I agree with you. I agree. And you would agree with that too, right, Pat?
I totally agree.
Yeah. All right, where do the Bears go from here now?
Well, I wrote a bunch of notes before I got on here. I don't see a lot of wins. Austin said, don't underestimate Bart Ball earlier. I was listening to him. And we play in the NFC North, the Vikings, the Packers, the Lions. A lot of good running backs there. And I know Swift has been coming on hot lately. But Justin Fields isn't walking back through those doors. David Montgomery isn't walking back through those doors. So as the temperatures get colder in Chicago, I fear that I don't see a lot of wins. Maybe the Patriots, maybe one conference game they get lucky. Maybe Seattle. That's a 7-win team, in my opinion, at best.
Yeah, and then it's adios. And then you know who I hear is coming in? I hear two names. I hear Bill Cowher, just to get it back rolling and hiring great coordinators. Or I hear Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator from Detroit, who's the new flavor of the NFL. And quite frankly, that wouldn't. I mean, I would be great with that also.
With either one of them.
Yep.
About Clint Kubiak.
Yep. What do you think?
I like that. I like Bobby Slowick from Houston. Developed. Now, I don't know how much of it's Bobby Slowick, but CJ Stroud has been nothing short of amazing. Cliff Kingsbury, I know he's already had his shot in Arizona. However, Jaden Daniels has done nothing but be good. Plus, he has the ties with Caleb at USC. Can he command a room? Don't know. But I think Ben Johnson is probably my number one guy. If I had to make a choice, you're going to need a defensive coordinator, obviously, that can command the defense because
Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh from the Jets. Yeah, Robert Saleh from the Jets.
Yep.
Salah.
Absolutely. But the Bears defense is there. See, here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. The Colts, actually, I was a Colts fan a couple of years ago when Ryan Grigson was the GM, if you guys ever remember them. Or
him. I do. Yep. Yep.
Yes, Andrew Luck's kidney
never
killer.
Had an offensive line. Andrew Luck never had an offensive line, and they had a lot of money when Chris Ballard came in to spend, and he kind of wasted it all away. The Bears should have $50 million or more, I would assume, in cap space this offseason with a lot of draft picks. Defensive line, offensive line, if you spend a draft pick on any other position, it's for depth. But in the later rounds, there's no reason that if Caleb tends to trend up for the rest of the season, I feel like there's no reason to not have excitement about next year. I'm already in the next year. I'm a Cubs fan. It kind of happens naturally.
Cody Bellinger, baby.
Yeah, I noticed they
Cody,
re-signed him, didn't they?
Yeah, the problem with Cody Bellinger is they don't have, going off Ricketts, salary, they don't have much left.
We don't have enough. Our food's getting cold to talk about the Cubbies. We will, though. Hey, listen, thanks for giving me your insight. I know you're a great Chicago Bear guy, and I know you know it as well as anybody. Please give my regards to your little baby and your wife, man. And, in a couple of weeks, we'll have you back. We'll see if anything changes.
Hey, can I ask you one question real quick?
Fire, baby.
Out of the 5 offensive linemen that the Bears have right now, how many are starting week 1 next week? Or next year, sorry.
One.
2.
Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright. Good answer. Right now. I don't know who the second one would be, Kenny.
Draft pick.
Oh, no. He was talking about
on the current line.
Out of the current line.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, no, Darnell Wright would be the only one in my estimation.
Here, I have a trade scenario for you. Give the Colts a second round pick and maybe a 5th round pick for Quentin Nelson.
Well,
are you a Colts fan? Can I ask you if you're a Colts fan before you say that?
Yes.
I don't think that would happen because I think they have a number 1 pick, they have the Panthers number 2, and they have their number 2. So they have 3 good picks to find linemen. 2 offensive linemen, 1 defensive lineman, and we're rolling. Cody, you're the best, man. Thanks for checking in.
I appreciate it. I waited all day for this, brother.
All right. See you, Cody. Bye-bye, man.
All right. Take care.
All right.
So, guys, good show tonight, man. Yes. We got some good food. And we'd be remiss if we didn't say that Dorbin's Old Town Tap has been wonderful to us.
Taken care of. We got good food. I mean, the people that, if you have not been here.
Oh, stop, man.
Lunch is the tops.
Yeah.
Lunch is big. Between 11 and 1:30, this place is packed.
Yeah.
And it's just an old style little tavern. Right now, there's guys upstairs in a buy-in poker game upstairs.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here watching basketball on 2 different screens. We just finished watching Purdue. Now we're watching Michigan and Cleveland State.
It's the beginning of the Dusty May era.
Yeah, we've got that's right. We've got Big East games over here on the other station. Had Butler and St. John's and all. They just keep bouncing around on Fox Sports 1. So plenty of TVs. We got Monday Night Football starting up. They're Tampa. They're playing in the rain down in Tampa.
Yeah.
So Scott, appreciate your help tonight. You did a great job of moving stuff around.
We could plug our broadcast Friday night.
Yep. Friday night, you and I, Kenny, will be at New Prairie for the sectional final. New Prairie versus Hanover Central.
Yes.
And how do people watch?
And it'll be on broadcastsport.net and the IHA Champions Network with a special 1-hour edition of the Digsy Dogs and Grill pregame show at 7 o'clock. And John will be joining us on Friday night.
So basically, you type in ihsaatv.org.
Or you could go to Broadcast Sports website and it'll take you to the network.
You got a couple extra clicks, but it'll find you there. It just says click here.
Yep. Should be a great game on Friday.
So
hey,
good job tonight.
Can I make one more point? I know where you guys want to go. Can I put a narrative to bed real quick?
Sure, go right ahead.
Let me tell you Ohio State's out of conference opponents, the marquee one since about 2016.
Ass, dirt, crap, and shit. Is that it?
At Baker Mayfield's Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then the next year,
they went there.
Yes.
Okay.
They won. The next year, Oklahoma went to Columbus and beat them. That was the hilarious one when Baker tried to plant the flag on a turf field and it didn't stick and it just fell over.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
2018 played TCU after TCU had been pretty good the year before.
Mm-hmm.
That was the game that Nick Bosa got hurt.
Okay.
2019 was Cincinnati, right at the beginning of the Luke Fickell era at Cincinnati. But they hadn't played
Reds. Okay.
They hadn't played them since like
right after Brian Kelly left.
It had been a while. 2020 doesn't count because it was just the Big Ten.
Yeah.
2021 was against Oregon, and then 2022 and 23 were Notre Dame, and then this year they played nobody because they were supposed to play Washington, and then Washington joined the conference.
They still play a bunch of nobodies though.
Hey.
And then they play Texas in Columbus next year, and then in Austin the year after.
I'm not as ruthless as Kenny. I think Ryan Day is a great coach, and I think if you look at numbers,
he's a jerk.
If you look at numbers,
he's a jerk.
Scoreboard.
We got Lou Holtz sitting next to me here.
I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now.
He could blow.
We better get off here before the
Scott,
FCC gets us.
My food's getting my
love you, Scott.
My
You're the best,
turkey
man.
sandwich is getting cold.
Love you,
All
man.
right.
See you, Scotty.
Thanks,
All right, guys.
See you next week.
We'll be back with another episode of Coach's Corner. We'll be putting more narratives to bed, maybe. I don't know. But same time, same place next week. And love you. See you later.